Rodniks are humming in the dead of the night. Electric bills climbing, ain't feeling right. Hash rates dropping, profits thin as air. I'm digging for gold, but there's none down there. I got the crypto mining blues, feeling like I just can't choose. But there's a spark in the AI glow. Rent my computer, let the profits grow. Once I was king with my GPUs. Now I'm stuck paying the power dues. Every coin I mine feels heavier than lead, but I hear whispers of a future ahead. I got the crypto mining blues, feeling like I just can't lose. Switch my power to the AI flow, turn this burden into a glow. I see the light, it's flickering on. AI's calling my machines to respond. No more digging in the blockchain dirt. This pivot might just heal the hurt. I got the crypto mining blues, but I'm stepping in brand new shoes. The AI train's on a steady roll, gonna recompute and regain control.
I was digging deep in the digital ground, hoping for treasure, but nothing was found. The rigs were buzzing, the heat was real. Electric bills biting like a thief who steals. The crypto mining blues got me feeling low. The profits are gone, where did they go? But there's a light shining through the haze. Renting compute might just save my day. I stacked up GPUs, thought I'd strike it rich, but the market's a beast with a wicked glitch. Hash rates climbing, rewards falling flat. Chasing that coin, I'm chasing a cat. Crypto mining blues got me feeling low. The profits are gone, where did they go? But there's a light shining through the haze. Renting compute might just save my day. AI knocking, it's a brand new game, whispering sweet that it knows my name. Ran out the power, let it learn and dream. A smarter hustle, a brand new scheme. Now my GPUs hum a different tune, training models under the cyber moon. No more digging, no more feudal race, just AI visions lighting up the space. Crypto mining blues got me feeling low. The profits are gone, where did they go? But there's a light shining through the haze. Renting compute might just save my days. Now my GPUs hum a different tune, training models under the cyber moon. No more digging, up the space.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Sundays with Max. How you guys all doing? It's preseason football time. And man, I've never seen so many ties. Anyway, I digress already. Good to see you guys. Appreciate you guys being here. Got a full bunch of things to talk about. I think you guys have some things to talk about too that we've been talking about in some of the live streams. Joker Miner has been a member for just over 2 years. Thank you, Joker Miner. Appreciate you being a member. Let's see here. Who else is here? Crypto Crag was here. He just got back from vacation, so he's going to be catching the replay. John Germain, that makes you the official first person here. At least who is still here. Rogelio Esquire, appreciate you being here. Second TL is gracing us with his presence. Good to see you. Turtle Tech, Northern Crypto and Tech, first time 13. Interesting. Black Hat Team, Travelers Travels, I Rescue Data, and Bacon, Eggs, and Hash. People seem to be coming a little slow, but it is August. I don't know about you, but I know when I had kids, August was the time where we were on vacation about half the month. We took a lot of vacations. I know when I was a kid, we took vacations. So August seems to be kind of the time where people take vacations. So wouldn't expect as many people to be here. And I'll tell you what, traffic to work has been really nice because obviously people are not around. They're somewhere else. So I know that in a couple of weeks, that's going to change. Certainly post Labor Day. That's going to change rapidly. Joker Miner, holy cow, with a $99.99 super chat. That's going to hang around for a while. Appreciate you. You freaking rock. Why? I guess I can't actually like it. It won't let me like it. But I do like it. All right, well, whatever. Wow, coming in with, he's definitely a big member. Yes, in that terminology. So thank you. Yes, he has the girth, he's the girthiest member. There we go. Without getting too, hey, this is still a family show, people. Who has money for a vacation? LOL. I hear you. Yeah. I have a vacation that I would like to eventually take with Sunflower Mama, where we go to Belgium and Italy. That is in our bucket list. But gotta get that hip fixed first so that I can be walking around without pain. But anyway, that's gonna be happening in the next month or two. Gonna make sure that I get an appointment to get that taken care of. Let's see. Big D Energy, Crypto MB. Welcome. Automatic Beats is here. Gosh, you got me thrown off there, Joker, but I appreciate it. Never mind being thrown off for that. Automatic Beats, welcome. And I'm sorry for missing live streams. Super busy lately. Hey, everybody is, and that's okay. It's been pretty interesting. I have been getting a pretty good amount of replays after the fact, and of all the live streams kind of in the space, I would think mine would not do better necessarily in replays, but do better than others in replays because I have topics that I specifically cover. Like Meet Kevin is a good example of somebody who I don't watch him anymore, but when I did, he would do live streams, but he really did like segments where he wasn't even responding to his the people that were watching. So sometimes I kind of feel like I'm like that, where I'm not even I'm just talking through a subject and then going back to the chat, but I could actually take these, and I've thought about doing it, taking these as segments and actually making them their own videos. Maybe I actually have to go back and watch some of these to see if they're good enough where I could actually do that. I don't know. But hopefully you guys have been liking the content, I've been trying a couple of different formats, been using Descript as my editor, and they have layouts and really kind of been helping the way I edit the videos, makes things a lot easier. I mean, it's still not easy, but makes it definitely easier to add additional things to the video. So, all right, let's see. Who else is here? Any 5090 purchases lately? No, I mean, the last one I did was about a month ago. Yeah, almost exactly a month ago. That's the one I put in the NAS. And that's the one that I moved to Octaspace last night, really late. And I'll take you kind of through that journey because I made some mistakes along the way, but finally figured out it's easy. I was trying to make it more complicated than it was. I was thinking installing like Vast when in fact I just didn't need to do that. So I'll take you through a couple of things I learned along the way. All right, let's see. Belgium does have great beer, but I haven't drank a beer since at least last November. Might have had a taste of a beer here and there. If I was out to eat with, we have a brewery in town, and we'll go out to dinner there. So I might have had a taste of a beer when I went there, but that's it. Let's see what else. Integra guy, good to see you. And MH, welcome as well. I just read your comment but didn't say hi. How rude of me. Okay. So let's where do I want to start tonight? Let's start kind of with the boring but interesting stuff. Things that are unrelated to crypto or projects, and that was Unraid. So I've talked about the fact that I had made this backup Unraid server just out of an old HP small form factor computer. It's got 15 gig, 110 gig, 15 gig, but it just didn't make sense that my storage on my main NAS is less than 8 terabytes. But in the backup NAS, it was like 12 to 13. And it just didn't make sense. So I decided to kind of dive into that. And what ended up happening was, in fact, let me bring up the other screen and I'll show you what I did. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Give me a second. I think it's the one. No, why do I always get these two mixed up? There we go. Okay. So basically, right now it's in the middle of trying to finish this one file before it pauses, but and right now my current NAS, here, let me get out of that, we'll come back to that, is currently doing a parity check. And the reason, sorry, I'll digress here a second. The reason why it's doing a parity check is because I discovered that there were some parity errors. If you notice here, oh no, it wasn't there. It was on here. Is it? Oh, I guess it's in a different. That's weird. Oh, because the screen isn't as wide as I was looking at before, so some of the things got moved to the left that were normally on the right. Anyway, I was looking at this, so it has one smart error. Basically, it has 8 sectors that have been basically deleted, and they have been removed from the disk, so they have been replaced somewhere else on the disk. So I started looking into that. So I'm actually going to be, in one way or another, I'm going to obtain a new drive so that I can replace it. More on that in the future. I'm trying to work on something. But I will be doing something with Unraid, showing, most likely what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to show how you can start building up to the next tier. Like right now, these are all 10 terabit drives. when you are in Unraid, your parity drives, well, your regular drives cannot be bigger than your parity drives. So you have to replace your parity drives with bigger drives before you can start increasing the size of the drives in your array. Now, with the way I have it set up, the standard Unraid way with XFS file system, you can have different size drives, but none of them can exceed the parity disks drives. So the key is, if you have an unhealthy drive, but you want to start building towards that next tier, then you replace one of your parity drives with a bigger drive, and then you take that drive, the parity drive, and replace the failed drive. So I'm going to be working on a project for that. Working through some things. It's a far off chance I might get a sponsor. We'll see. I reached out, so we'll see. But anyway, so that then had me going down a different rabbit hole, which was looking at parity errors, and in parity errors there were 336, and I'm like, well, that's weird. Wouldn't you just fix your parity errors when you found them? And lo and behold, when you again, it moved things on me. Down here is where the parity check is. When you standard write corrections to parity disk, the default's no. Why Unraid? Why would that be no? Why would we not want to fix errors? It makes no sense. Now, I will say the parity errors are my fault. Evidently, parity errors are really common if you just shut off your Unraid server. And before I moved my Unraid server, I got lazy. I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot to shut it down. I'll just shut it off. And lo and behold, it booted back up. It always goes into a parity check if it's not shut down properly. And I had 336, which isn't a lot, but I had 336 parity errors. So right now I'm doing another parity check, this time correcting them, and going forward, every time it does a parity check, it will fix the errors. So using Unraid, that is an important change to make. I just found out. So going back to Duplicati. So, well, let me go to my offsite now. So this was like, literally, this one was 90% full. The 10 terabyte drive was 90% full, so that was 9 gig, and the 5 terabit drive was at 4 terabytes, so that was 80% full. So I only had 2 terabytes left of space. And how is that? That means I had 13 terabytes on this thing, and I had an error from my previous backup saying I ran out of space. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense. So then, going back to Duplicati, I was like, okay, so what's going on? So I went to the command line, and there's actually a place where you do version -- version equals, and then if you do 1, that means you're only going to have version 0. Version 0 is the current version. And so you can do 1 to 9, or it doesn't really matter what the number is. But if your database somehow is out of sync, which for some reason mine was, I suspect it was because I had unfinished backups that were kind of sitting there. You need to rebuild your database. So going back, the way you do that is, let's see, where was that? I'm trying to remember now. Shoot. That doesn't really help if I don't remember how to do it. And this is where it is. Why am I drawing a blank? It's not here. Because there wasn't a restore. There's a restore, but that's not the same thing. Well, you know what? There's going to be a video on it. So I'll just leave that as a teaser. I just got to remember how I did it. Obviously, this, looking at all the selections, you have run now. And I did there. Oh, duh. Advanced database. How did I miss that? You go here, database, and then you go to repair. And for me, the repair was enough. The next time I ran the version part of the delete, I was able to delete all those other files. And now you can see where I'm at. I am now at 7.26. And I'll be higher than that because there's a bunch of things that haven't been backed up that I've obviously been recording a bunch. So now I'm up closer to around 7.98 terabytes of data, but I still have enough room. So, but I am going to definitely have to think about expanding this. And what I'm probably going to do, I'm going to keep it with the small form factor. But what I'm going to do probably is get a couple of SATA splitters and power 2 additional hard drives with those, which the power supply should have plenty to do for that, and get 2 additional 10 terabyte drives. And then I in the PCIe connector, I will get a PCIe to SATA adapter. So I will have additional SATA data connectors and then also have power connectors as well. So that is the plan. But here's the thing. Anybody want to figure out how to create some type of way of mounting those drives above the CPU within the case? That would be great. That'd be great. If anybody's got any ideas or have a 3D printer, it's Geek here. Goat. Max Voltage calling goat. So I don't know. That's kind of my thought. I definitely will have to expand another 10 terabytes on that thing relatively soon. But yeah, because there is enough space that you can actually put them horizontal above that. That CPU doesn't really run hot. It's so I think we'd be fine there. I have seen other people do it this way as well. But anyway, those are my thoughts as far as that goes. But I'm really happy now that now everything seems to be as it should be. And as soon as this parity check is done on my main NAS, then this will, this backup will finally be able to complete properly. It should be paused now because it just, oh, maybe not. No, it's still here. Never mind. It's just chugging along really slow because of the parity check, which is fine. So yeah. So anyway, that's what's going on there. I just thought that was pretty interesting. So 2 things again, make sure you turn on the parity check, repairs, if you're using Unraid, and then, if you're running out of space, make sure you check for database errors with duplicati. It seems to be an issue that it can have. Now you shouldn't really be pushing it that much where you are running out of space. Then you don't have that problem. So there you go. All right, let me go back to the chat. Let's see. It doesn't look like too much. Let's see. All set. Welcome, Mr. Peaceful. We all know what happens when you do a live stream. Yes, you do. S. Chang. Hey. Maybe Max need a parity check. Good to see you, S. Chang. It's been a while. It's been a minute. So appreciate you guys all being here. Okay. So what else have I been up to? So couple different things. We're going to do Timpi first. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Timpi project. But it basically, for lack of a better term, it's creating a better Google, as far as search goes. Basically, as they put it, reclaim the internet, restore digital freedom. There isn't any bias. They just put forth the search. So there's no sponsored, anything like that. It's just search. They've crawled the internet. They continue to crawl the internet. And that's what all of these nodes are for. Well, not all of them are for, but some of them are for crawling. Some of them are for processing the search results as well. I have not tried using this yet. I know that there's been a couple of streams where people have started using it, but it is an interesting project and very ambitious. This has been a couple of years in the making. The first time I became aware of this was actually at the first Flux event. Was the first time I became knowledgeable of it. Talked with a guy probably for a good 45 minutes. Definitely found it interesting. So I've been running a Timpi Synaptron node since January, I think, something like that, and continue to get paid out. So that's been very successful. The GeoCore, I've been working with them, so they had provided a GeoCore full disclosure. They provided a GeoCore NFT, so I was able to deploy. Very, very simple to deploy. Only thing, and they're supposed to be fixing this relatively shortly, is it's a little difficult to figure out whether or not you've deployed correctly. You can look at the log files and it looks okay, but there's not like in their Discord with the Synaptron node, they have a Synaptron check. And so you just type in your GUID, or the last 8 digits of your GUID, and it will tell you if everything's running okay. Is it on the right release? Does it, all these things. So that's really handy. They don't have that for GeoCore yet. And also they have a version 2 of your node page. And right now that doesn't have any information as to your availability. Obviously, if your availability is something better than 0, it was online at some point. And if it continues to go up, then you know that you're going the right direction and you're fine. Especially with GeoCore, it's really important. You need to be 95% online uptime. So considering all of my vast services are 99% or better, I'm not too worried about 95% for the GeoCore. Now the thing is, with the finances of it, does it make sense? So it's kind of like buying an ASIC when crypto prices are down. Does it make sense? Doesn't make sense, because you're looking at the profitability and you're like, this thing breaks even never. And so in that sense, it doesn't make sense. Basically, for the first year, right now with its current price, it comes out to about $28 a month. And it's right now between $750, $850. I believe with some discounts that are out there, might be able to get down to $750, but list price on its site is $850. So you can do the math. Even at just $28, it takes quite a while for it to pay off. Let's do some math. So if we do 850 divided by 28, you're looking at 30 months. So you're looking at 2.5 years. Now, it only pays the $28 for the first year. So how much have you paid off in the first year? 336 out of the 850. Now, you do own this NFT. I don't know what the secondary market might look like, but you do own the NFT. And obviously, it's kind of like owning an ASIC in a way. You're getting in on the ground floor, and the value of that NFT should go up as the value of the coin goes up, because somebody is going to want that in order to run a node to make more money. So if the value of Timpi goes up, which is currently about 2.9 cents last time I checked, then obviously the value of that NFT would also go up. So it is a risky investment. It's an interesting one though. Plenty of people that had invested in S19s and S21s with the pure reason is to sell their ASICs when the bull run hits. Right now, that hasn't really looked great this bull run, but that's not to say we're not done with the bull run yet. So there's still the possibility. So in the past, that strategy has worked really well. Bitcoin is grown up, shall we say. So I'm not sure how well that strategy will work going forward, but on newer projects, it might. Not something like Caspo where they're constantly reducing the rewards, but something more consistent. You know, if you think about it this way, yes, it's this $28 a month for a year, and again, that will vary based upon the price of Timpi. And after that, it's like a halving. It goes down to 14 months, $14 a month. So that's basically what's going on with that. Like I said, it is a really interesting project, and I'm glad I'm able to do it. It was, like I said, very, very easy to deploy. I actually started taping it, and it literally was so boring that I'm probably not going to release it. It's just so boring. I gotta make sure that my content actually is worth something. There's just not much to it. I might do like an overview type video of Timpi and then throw this in at the end. I'm kind of thinking about doing that, but anyway, that's that is what's going on. Now I did figure out something else with, and I can actually show this to you. It's so annoying. I think I can. Now this will probably work actually. This will probably work. And it's really kind of goofy what's going on right now with Unraid because of some of the things I've changed. I will have to figure this out. Anyway, let me go into my VMs. And I don't know if you ever have noticed this. If you have Proxmox, same thing happens where you get an error message from VNC when you're trying to go into the console of the VM. With Proxmox, you can like click right past it and you're done. With Unraid, you can't. Now, what I did do is I changed some permissions to make it work, but let me see. I don't want to do Octaspace. I want to do GeoCore because Octaspace won't work because it's using GPU pass-through and I have VNC turned off on that one. But let's go here. So yes, you get this error, which is really, really annoying. That's right. Yeah, I would still do this. What I ended up doing was going into, because like you can't click through this. Like it's back there, it's running. You're teasing me with it. Stop teasing me with it. Let me get into the VM. Anyway, really annoying. So what I ended up doing is going into a what do you call it? Incognito window. And then I could get into it. So figured out a workaround to it, but boy, was that annoying. Goat coming in with the longer member, 37 months for Goat. Anyway, sorry, I just was thinking about a number of different comebacks for Joker, but Joker, I'll let you talk to that. But anyway, so yes, if you would smash that like button, I would appreciate it. Sorry, YouTube makes me ask, as Chump Change always says. So anyway, I worked through a number of issues yesterday. Today, yeah, it was all yesterday. I was up until about 3:30, 4 in the morning, working through some of the things. I'll get into the Octaspace because I started the Octaspace, and if anybody's been around for a while, I always say, do not start an install or fix that's something that's working. Do not touch it after midnight. Yeah, I started something after midnight. So anyway, I learned a whole bunch of things along the way though. So let's get into Octaspace. 5090s, for whatever reason, my 5090s have not been doing very well on Vast, which I find very interesting. In fact, hang on a second. I gotta switch. Here, let me just pull this down first. And then I just have to change the look of it. There we go. Now I'll bring it back up. Okay. So right now, everything else, and I'm going to give myself the kiss of death, but whatever, is rented except for my second 5090. Now, if you notice, I have 3 5090s only. 2 of them are here. We have this. Where is it? Oh, right. It's right here. Sorry, I didn't change the name of this one after I changed it. So yes, you have this one and this one. This one's rented. This one is not. Now what I'm wondering is, because this one only has a 6-core processor on it, and I'm wondering if that's the reason why it's not getting rented. Not sure. I might, if my experiment with Octaspace does well, I might move it to Octaspace. Right now, Octaspace, and I will say I do like this platform. I really do. Let me fix this. There we go. So right now I've been rented 3 times. What's cool is after your job is done, it just shows up in your wallet. The other thing is that Octaspace only takes 5%. They don't take 25% like Vast and many of the other platforms. Nobody knows exactly how much Salad takes, because they openly have said that, yeah, they take 10% at the end, but what they're saying they're paying you isn't like all of what they're getting paid either. So who knows what their profit margin is. Again, doesn't matter. You're doing it for what you're getting paid. As long as you know what you're getting paid, how much they get paid shouldn't matter. With all that said, it's nice to know that you're making 95% of what is actually being made total, or as far as being paid out to Octaspace. So, like I said, there were 3 jobs that it's done so far. And after each one of those jobs was done, I was able to go into my Tangent wallet and look, and I could see those transactions within my Tangent wallet. So I like that. All right, let me go back. I don't want to go to hardware because I believe, let me just double check. Oh no, hardware's okay. I think it's overview that I don't want to show. Yeah, overview is what I don't want to show. Yes, overview is not what I want to show, because that shows my IP address. So I'm not going to show that, but I will show hardware. And so it says, it's kind of interesting. It says a 5950X 16-core processor, which shows 16 cores, right? No, that's 16 threads, because I'm using half of the processor in my Unraid server for it. So I'm actually only using 8 cores. But anybody maybe taking a glance at this may be like, oh yeah, he's got 16 cores on this. Nope, 16 threads. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting. Currently no load, it's not rented right now. It is idle. And it has 64 gig of RAM. And this is where I found it interesting that I put in there 650 gig of space, but yet it only allocated 473. Now, it seems like what they said was they would allocate 80% of available disk space to Docker. So you probably have to subtract out, actually I can probably do it. I think the installation of Ubuntu, I think, is being allocated 25. Let's see. So if we take 625 times 0.8, No, that's 500. So I don't know. Somehow it's taking an extra 25 away from it. So anyway, but bottom line is allocate more space, and they'll, total of your instance of your VM, and it will allocate more space to it. So I'm kind of curious if maybe this is hurting me, but I don't think the jobs are normally that big. So I don't know. Time will tell. I can always redo it if I have to. All right. And then the GPU is the 5090. And it shows the temperature. I currently have the power limit set at 600 watts. That's another thing that's kind of interesting. Did I bring it up here? Oh, there it is. This is kind of interesting because if I did put it down to the standard TDP, it would show this OC. And if you just hover over it, you'll see that this person has the power limit set to 450. And this one has the power limit set to 530. But what's interesting, when I don't think this is necessarily fair, they should be figuring this out not on what the card thinks the TDP is. It should be based upon what actually NVIDIA says that the TDP is, which is 575. Shouldn't be, putting this label of cheater on it, which I kind of feel like it's doing. It's basically saying, don't pay as much for this one with this label. So I did remove it. I have noticed, at least when it's running render jobs, it never gets to 600 watts. So the only time where I might run into an issue is if somebody rents the machine to mine, then possibly it might be an issue. I'm keeping a close eye on this one, just to make sure. But yeah, it's a nice dashboard, nice easy dashboard to find your GPU and others. So if I go up to the top, where am I? This one is me. 5090 with a 5950X, and then my downloads 936 and my uploads 191. So not too bad, but some of the other ones, that one's pretty similar, although that one's about half the upload speed. But yeah, I mean, right now there's quite a few. Got 12 here. The only thing I wish that Octaspace would show on this marketplace is a selection to show rented. So right now I have no idea. Is there 4 rented? Is there 104 rented? I don't know. And it's good. It would be good to know, to see who's rented and at what price are they rented. Or is there just no demand for 5090s right now? I don't know. There's no way to tell. So I wish that they had that. All right, let me check the Go retracted his comment. What comment did you retract? Dang, I didn't look over fast enough. Integra guy. That must be Integra guy that had that member for 40. Yeah, that's member for 40 months. Yeah, that's Integra guy. It's weird though. It doesn't show his name on the actual message probably because he retracted the message. Be my guess. 13 likes. I was wondering, I'm like, 31 likes and 41 watching? That's pretty good. All right, let me see what else you guys been saying. Chump Who sounds familiar, like a name I haven't heard in quite some time. I've been talking to him behind the scenes. He's doing well. Certainly with the stuff he's been forwarding to me. He was showing me a few things on YouTube, and I was cracking up. How do you mess up an Octa install? I will tell you that in a minute. I know it's one install command, but no, it's not, because you have to install Ubuntu, and there are multiple ways to install Ubuntu server. And the question is, do you install Ubuntu server or do you install Ubuntu desktop? I was doing server. On top of that, how do you install the NVIDIA driver? We'll talk about that in a minute. I never feed them after midnight. Yeah. Salad has wilted. Again, they're a small company. You have one company that says, yeah, we got what we needed, and then they leave. This is common with them. You're gonna have these very large swings in demand. It's gonna happen. This is the reason why I left them the first time. If you have something as large as Vast, for instance, you're going to have more steady demand for the most part. But again, deploying on Vast is a little bit more difficult. Well, it's a lot more difficult. Once you know how to do it, it's easy though. Oh, it doesn't? Tangent doesn't currently exchange Octa? Doesn't swap it? Well, that sucks. Because it's in the selection. I can click swap when I'm on Octa. I haven't tried swapping it to anything else. Well, you know what? Now you're gonna make me want to try. Let me see if I can swap a little bit of Octa for something else. I'm in Tangent. Let's go to my Octa. Oh, look at that. Swap is grayed out. Well, that sucks. I'm curious. Let me go to overall swap. Yeah. Choose the token. Yep, unavailable for swap. Wow, that stinks. That stinks. Well, thanks. Thanks for letting me know that. Thanks for letting everybody know that, Debbie Downer. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, it was interesting. It scrolled down right by its. Oh, I guess because I had scrolled down. ETH to 10K. Absolutely. I hold a little. I do hold a little. Retro Mike says you can reallocate. You can reallocate it yourself at any time. It creates a pre-allocated file. You don't need to redo the VM. Oh, really? It creates a pre-allocated file. Maybe we need to talk afterwards. So, I mean, the VM is only at 650 gig. So if I want to make a bigger file, it can only go up to 650. Oh, I guess what you're saying is it'll allocate up to whatever's available, even though it's only currently at 470 or whatever. Okay. Let me know. Clarify that if in fact that's what you mean. Jackson Digital, welcome. Good to see you, sir. Wilt Central, but following a record high run for me. Might just be a soggy lettuce time before some crisp new jobs. Here's the thing. I've been saying this. Summers are usually really slow for demand. And I've been absolutely blown away at the amount of demand that is still out there for AI jobs. You know, college students haven't gone back to college yet. And there's gonna be some demand from research and such at universities, because that's what's used it in the past. So I'll be really curious to see come middle to late September where we're at with AI machine learning demand at that point. Let's see here. Ubuntu got a new kernel. Did it? Retro Mike, Ubuntu drivers install. Easy command. No, it's not. Because yes, you can do that, but it won't. For 5,000 series GPUs, you have to install the open driver. Has to be the open driver. So if you're running, I do sudo apt install NVIDIA driver dash the number of the driver, and then you need to put dash open. So yes, your Ubuntu drivers install will tell you what's available, but it will not tell you which one to run. That's what I'm talking about. So when I initially ran it, I did not run the open. So here's the thing. When you're in, you have two different ways to install it. Yes, you have that one or the sudo app. But anyway, that's all being done through the Ubuntu repository. Or you can download it and run it through a .run command. But when you run it through the .run command, the first thing that comes up is MIT/GPL or proprietary, meaning the NVIDIA driver. You need to pick the MIT/GPL. That's the open driver. On Linux, that's the only one I've been able to get to work. When you go to NVIDIA-SMI and you run the proprietary driver, forget it. It doesn't show up. So that's been my experience every single time I go to install a 5000 series GPU. And I have 5 machines now with 5000 series GPUs. All right, let's see. Ubuntu's got a new kernel. That shouldn't have any. I mean, I guess it is. Ubuntu is probably the basis of WSL. I don't think. I know that that's not the reason. They came out on X stating that a current customer has scaled back, but that they have more customers in the hopper. So hang tight. There'll be more demand soon. Again, this is nothing new. This happens. DJ Minds is here. Welcome, sir. Good to see you. Let's see. Frogman says to Retro Mike. Shoot, I just scrolled too far down. Says, I was curious, what was your plan for the big stack of machines you posted a few days ago? Well, we'll see what he says, if he wants to say anything, or maybe save it for a video. Tangent, or maybe just save it for his GitHub. Tangent also doesn't swap a lithium, says DJ Minds. Yeah. I mean, they're not an exchange. They're a wallet. I don't really mind. I'm kind of curious, actually. I keep talking when I should have been on the main screen, but let me do swap space. Let me see if Octaspace. They're in here. Oh, but that's the... Yeah, Octa? Is that the right Octa? Hold on. Now I want to go look to make sure that that's the right one. Yes, it is. Octa. Yeah, and the minimum is 150. So you can just do it through swap space or simple swap probably. Let's see if we do to Bitcoin. And we're going to move this up to say 200 so it doesn't run into an issue. So yeah, view offers. Oh, I'm fine on my own. Actually, it's through Swapter. Low KYC risk. And I certainly wouldn't swap like a whole mess of stuff. I would test it first, because this one takes like an hour to happen. But yeah, that's one way to do it. The other thing is, I believe, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, Coin Metro, I know, has Octaspace, and I think they are allowed. You're allowed to have an account in the United States. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that. I have not tried it yet, but that was the next plan. Also Flux, which is also another one that's hard to cash out of, is also on Coin Metro. All right, let me see where we're at. Automatic Beats can't swap it either. Octa's a hodl coin, LOL. Everything can be a hodl coin, and everything can be a sell coin. I mean, you don't have to hodl it. I mean, you can believe that it's going to make you money now through rentals and want to cash out of the rentals. All a personal choice. All a personal choice. Retro Mike Frogman. I currently have about 20 of them on Octaspace. Oh, that's right. Now I remember. Some are rented, but I have other plans for them to make money back in less than 2 months. Nice. Nice. Well, hopefully you'll be sharing that after they break even. All right. Jackson Digital setting up dual Xeon 88 thread with dual 5090s with 128 gig for AI rentals. Not sure on which service to go with. How many terabyte would you recommend for jobs? Minimum 2 terabytes. I would probably go to 4. It's not necessary per se. Minimum is like 1 terabyte per GPU. And with 5090s, I think more people are going to be renting 1 at a time than 2 at a time. Could be wrong. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I have not tried that yet. But that's very interesting. I like it. I like it. Well, here's the other thing. I have not, no, actually, hold on. I guess Octaspace does allow multiple GPUs. But again, I can't tell what's rented, so I don't know. So let's see. This 2x5090, just right here. It has had 30 jobs. It's 48%, so it's probably been online about 14 days. And its average of those 30, so it's been basically about 90 hours out of those 13 to 14 days. 90 hours is like 3.5 days, right? Yeah, just under 4 days actually. What? I don't know. My calculator app has been acting like really weird. Every time I try to go to an existing window for the calculator app, it opens up a new calculator. It's so weird. Anyway, but I digress. I don't know. I definitely do not have the answer to that question. I think that's a bit for experimentation. I would not do Clore. I have seen what people are renting for on Clore. They're nuts. They're renting for like less than $4. Less than $4 an hour. I'm sorry, less than 4 hours a day. That's nuts. Absolutely nuts. Now, I know that there are some other like bonus kick-ins and things like that. That might be the reason why they're taking some of that into account. But man, Clore is a rough place to compete. You think I have low prices? Holy cow. They really have low prices. All right. Retro Mike says extend the VM and then you can reallocate the file. It creates a single XFS. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, so yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, that's all. I thought you said I didn't need to do anything to the VM. I need to increase the size of the VM. I've gone through that once before. There's a couple different steps. You have to increase the size of the VM. Then I believe you need to actually manually go into command line and extend that partition out to the end of the unallocated space. And what you're telling me here is that then you can go in there and actually reallocate that Docker file. Let me know if I misunderstood that, but I think those are the 3 steps. Swamp 7, welcome. Jackson Digital PCI. Oh yeah. I won't say that PCIe 3 belong in the trash, but they won't work well with 5090s. Well, I mean, they'll work just fine. The problem is that the PCIe will be the bottleneck for it. It will perform slower. They will absolutely saturate PCIe 3. So yeah, that could definitely be an issue. So yeah. I think that was the point that Swamp 7 was making. Yeah, PCIe 5 Xeons. He said PCIe 5 Xeons belong in the trash can at this point. I think he means the lower end Xeons. Second TL, absolutely. Demand has been lower in the summer months. Typically, yes. Like I said, this month I think has been pretty good. Pretty darn good. Let's see. You'll like this answer when I get to it. Yeah, so extend the VM, then you can reallocate the file. It creates a single XFS file and maps it to, yep. That's in the instructions about how you can change the size of that Docker file. Oh, I actually went backwards, sorry. Let's see, True, still getting rented though. Nice, good. I'm glad you're getting rented. I'm not. Mine's some 10, good to see you. We're talking a little bit about Octa. Yes, we are talking a little bit about Octa. Right now, let me go back to it. Let's see, sessions. Nope, still only 3. Only 3 rentals so far. I've been on since about 4 o'clock in the morning this morning. So I still don't, don't have a large amount of online time. It accrues over 30 days. So I'm hoping that as I prove myself out there, as that number grows, I'll start getting more rentals as a result. But we'll see. We'll see. And at that point, I'll start raising my price closer to what everybody else has out there. Right now, I'm pretty low at like 32 cents for a 5090. Still not getting rented, or not getting rented much. But yeah. Let's see. Am I running Ubuntu 25.04? No, I'm not. I probably still have some. No, I think I finally upgraded all of my Vast rigs to 22.04. Pretty sure. But everything's running on 22.04. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the way I view it. But it is good to know. There are some problems that at least in the past, 24.04 was a problem for Vast, and those problems were, as far as how to fix them, were not as well documented as the fixes for the problems that were in 22.04. So I'm still running 22.04. Yes, second TL, I'm going to be running 22.04. Well, that's not very nice to say about me. Retro Mike, I'm not old. Oh, Ubuntu 22.04 is old. Okay. I guess it is a little old. iRescue data, 256 gig feels better for... 259. Oh, I see what you're saying. Going to 256 gig of RAM. I think you'd be fine with 128, honestly. You're still at twice as much RAM as you have VRAM. And honestly, if somebody's going to be running a 5090, the reason why they're running a 5090 is so they don't swap to RAM. They want to run bigger models and they want to run them quickly. So I think it kind of defeats the purpose, because you could rent, an 84090s for, if you really were looking to, I should say you could rent 4090s where they could swap to RAM for a lot less than 5090s. So I don't know. Just my 2 cents. So I don't run that side. I don't run jobs on Vast, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. Let's see. Organizing Pokemon cards while listening. DJ. DJ. Really? You're going down the chump? Oh, man. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I was never... So, my generation was baseball cards. I never got into it. It was never my thing. Never my thing. My kids got into Pokemon a little bit. But they were more like... When Pokemon Go came along, yeah, they were really into that. Anyway. Nope, was never into it. Yes. So mine some 10. Tangent's third-party exchange fees are atrocious. Of course they are, because they're a wallet. It's, to me, when a wallet has now when you have a wallet, the wallet has to do some type of swap. It's now become an expectation, which I think is crazy. You're a wallet. You're a hardware wallet. You are there to hold the crypto securely, safely. That is your job. Stay in your lane. Exchange is not in your lane. Stop it. Stop it. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. So yeah, exchanging within a hardware wallet, honestly, is lazy. It's lazy. I was going to try it because I was going to be lazy along with everybody else that was like, hey, can you swap it? But I will be using something like Swapspace, where there hopefully are going to be better options than just one for swapping Octaspace. But usually there's multiple options so that there's at least some competition. Certainly never going to be as good as swapping or doing anything on an exchange. So yeah. Let's see. Jackson Digital. I'm trying to make sure this thing doesn't. I think I'm way behind in chat. Which I appreciate all the comments. Yeah, Jackson Digital, I'm kind of like 2 times RAM is in general a good rule. As a minimum, you can definitely do more than that. All right, there was the jump. Let's see. Noble Numbiat 24.03. 24.03. It's not even an LTS version. But hey, whatever works for you. Pearl Rival taxes depreciating GPUs versus appraised donations. First of all, it's kind of interesting. I am not an accountant, so I'm going to say that Section 179 was in the original Trump tax bill, and it has now been extended permanently that you can take office equipment, computer equipment, and expense it in the year that you buy it. You do not have to depreciate it as a capital good. Take that to your accountant. They may have different opinions. I have gotten an opinion on it, and that's what I'm running with. So I don't do either of those. I expense them the year that I buy them. But I also, when I sell them, I claim the income. And then I get taxed on that income because I fully expensed the item. So it is now income. So that's the way I'm doing it on a cash basis of accounting. Let's see. Retro Mike. I use one key hardware wallet for Octa. Oh, okay. I'm using Tangent. Strange Tamer. Good to see you, sir. Oh, you're welcome, Digital. Jackson Digital. Yeah, I rescued it. It might be different rules for different jobs. Correct. I mean, yeah, obviously, if somebody's trying to run an enormous model on a single 5090 and they don't care about the number of operations per second and the swapping back and forth between RAM, obviously having a ton of RAM will allow it to run. It'll just run considerably slower. Let's see. Clore is the floor. Gotcha. You know, the one thing is I'd really like to know if people are getting steadily rented on Flux. I go in there every once in a while. I don't see anything on it. Maybe I'm blind. I don't know. I meant to reach out to Jeff Gee to see, like, how are things going? Are you guys getting more steady rentals? Is this the time for people to finally move over because it's good to move over? I don't know. I need to. Haven't looked in probably about a month and a half, but it might be time to look again. Mine sometimes says a large portion of my rentals on Octa allow me to continue mining while rented. It's glorious. Interesting. I'm not mining anything right now, so I am not. Oh, mine's intent is using Hive. I am not using Hive. Although I could have, because I still have a balance. No, I did not miss it. I watched it. That's why I mentioned that unless you are staking, that you may get additional rewards. But I still don't think that's a reason why you would want to rent for so cheap. You don't have to rent for that cheap. People will rent you otherwise. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I know that you can get up to like almost like 3 times depending on how much, but that's a large stake in order to get like 3 times. There were people renting for $3. $3. You should be making at least $7 to $8 a day with a 5090. So, all right. Let's see. AlphaMine has a few helpful Octa videos. I might make one, been a little too busy at work to make. Yeah. I did watch his videos. They were helpful. He did things differently. He was installing the desktop version of Ubuntu. I install the server version. So, save space. Don't need all that stuff. That's just my opinion. Let's see. Hate it when it does that jump when I get behind. Sorry, I gotta find exactly where I left off. All right, there it is. Goat. Ubuntu 20.04 or bust. Interesting. Ubuntu 16 out of, not even 18.04, but 16.04 is the most stable for Bitcoin. Interesting. All right, let's see if I can not lose it again here. John Germain, yes, but 22.04 Ethernet doesn't quit on booting like 24.04. Not sure what you mean by that. So you're saying 24.04 when you boot 24.04, like the Ethernet will just cut out on you? Good to see you, Enable. Good to see you. Let's see. Bitcoin just broke 120,000. Really? That wasn't what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Yes, it did. Oh, wow. It's almost up to 121. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, baby. Let's go. Shoot, it almost seems like it's time for a DJ stream, but I think it's past his bedtime. I'm not sure if he's still here. And ETH just broke past 4,300. Love it. Love it. Nick, good to see you, sir. All right, let's see. Time to open up some short positions. See, I don't short. I just basically, and here's the problem. Right now, I'm struggling as to when to sell right now because we're far from the top, in my opinion. But I don't know if we're going to have another drop. We'll go into interest rates and I'll explain to you why I'm struggling a little bit with it. And we'll get some answers this week, but I'll get into that in a minute because that's the reason I want to go over interest rates is because that honestly will have, it's already had an effect. And we'll go into it in a minute. Let me catch up on chat and then we'll go into that. Let's see. The appreciated donations thing is a gray area and bordering on scam. So those who take them off your hands get them for free. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Like, you know, cars for kids and things like that. They'll basically give you a much greater appraised value on it. And that way you can take a higher amount on your off your taxes. I don't know. I know that if I sell it and sell it for a larger amount, the tax I'm going to get on that minus the profit is still better than the amount of charity deduction I'm going to get. It is interesting though. I'm pretty sure this was part of the new tax law that they moved charity donations, took it out of your itemized donations and put it outside. So basically you can still take your standard deduction and then take charity donations on top of it. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that was in there. That was really, really cool thing of the new law. I felt like the old law with so many people not taking itemized deductions anymore was hurting charitable deductions or charitable donations, because there wasn't that underlying, oh, I'm going to get a tax benefit out of it. I know people shouldn't be donating. They should be donating because of the goodness of their heart. But some people, it's more of a math equation for them. Yes, I want to do something good, but I also want to do something good for me at the same time. And if I don't get the tit for tat thing, then maybe I won't donate quite as much because I won't have as much money at the end of the day. Anyway, I kind of look at it from an analytical standpoint. Yeah, retro like KRS cars for kids. Yeah, that. I do not miss that commercial. I still hear it all the time on my way into work. It's really annoying. Yeah, song is in your head now. Yep. Especially after I just sang it. All right. All right. So let's, what else did I, let's see. I'm just making sure we started going over that. I have not gone over that. So we'll go over to interest rates and then I'll go back to some of the other topics because I got a bunch of other things I can talk about as well. All right. Interest rates. So this has been a topic on so many live streams as to what people's opinions are. And I've given mine, and my opinion on the streams that I've been on has been, you know what? Interest rates aren't going to be lowered in September. Well, let's just say that I'm not convinced that they're not going to be lowered. Here's where I have a problem with the way that it's become very political. I'll definitely give you that. And when I mean political, I don't mean right versus left. I mean that companies that want interest rates to be lowered will predict that interest rates are going to be lowered because they want them lowered. And then everybody follows that. And then it becomes a market expectation. So right now, everybody's quoting Goldman Sachs, 92.2% chance that rates, where the hell does that 0.2% come from anyway? 92, why not just 90%? Anyway, 92.2% chance that rates are going to be lowered in September. That's all people say. I don't say what it's based upon or anything. Just that that's what's going to happen. Now, the things that have come out that people are concerned about is jobs, obviously. And therefore, if jobs are going down, job growth is going down, that means leading to a slower economy. But here's the thing. Just because that's happening does not mean that the Fed can just ignore inflation. And their target has always been 2%. And so if you look at where inflation went the last month, that actually went up a little bit, 0.3% in the month of June. Now, July is going to be out here this week on Tuesday. It's the 12th. So we're going to get another reading of the consumer price index very soon. But everybody focuses on the CPI. The CPI is not what they really look at. But yet that's the headline. That drives me nuts. It is very clear. It's been stated many times that PCE is the preferred measure of inflation by the Fed. But it barely gets reported. It doesn't even make a headline. It's crazy. If we're so focused on interest rates going down or up or whatever they're going to be, why is PCE lost in the news cycle? It should be number one. PCE is this. And guess what? It also went up for the month of June. Now unfortunately it's lagging. So it's reporting on June at the end of July. So we will not get another reading of PCE until the end of August. So when I said that I don't think interest rates are going to be lowered in September. I was basing it on the fact that inflation has actually gone up. Now, I did more investigation. So what I did look at was more detail on the consumer price index. These are the dates. So consumer price index is coming out for the month of July, August 12th. So always at 8:30 Eastern time. So yeah. And then PCE is coming out August 29th. So that's why I had this one up. I wanted to show those dates. Those are key dates. Now we are going to get one more before the September Fed meeting. We will get one more reading of consumer price index. And if that is not drastically different one way or the other, just holding a trend or maybe going slightly up or down, I don't think it's going to make much difference because the end of the month PCE reading is going to have much greater effect. That's my opinion. All right, let me go back to consumer price index. Where is it? Here it is. So again, it's currently now at 2.7% total. And if you take out food and energy, it's currently at 2.9%. Now, the consumer price index generally is about 0.4 to 0.5 above the PCE, basically personal expenditures. So that's about 0.4% above. So again, not at the Fed's target. So that has me be concerned. But what has been holding the consumer price index back for a long time has been shelter. And what was it at last month? 0.2. That, if that can hold that trend when it comes out on Tuesday, that will be huge, because finally shelter is such a large portion of the consumer price index. And so what everybody kind of looks at is, oh my gosh, so it only went from 2.7 to 2.8. Well, yeah, because you're deleting the previous year's reading. And it all depends on what that reading was. If that reading 1 month was like 0.7 or something like that for that particular month, and then you're replacing it with something higher than normal of 0.4, you're still going to get this very large deduction or lowering of the consumer price index. So I don't know what last July was, because that's what it would be replacing. You know what? Let's look. Let's look. Because right now, if you look at this, is 3.8%. Its shelter still looks very high. So what? You're talking about a year ago. What was it at last month? 0.2. That's good. That's a rate of 2.4. A hell of a lot lower than the 3.8. So let me do this. Let me duplicate this. Go back and see if I can find last year's. I mean, I don't need to go all the way back, but hang on. Charts. Let's see. Yeah. I want. That's 12 months change. I want to know what last June. Okay, here we go. No, is this? Okay, here we go. Let's see. That's 2.9%, but that doesn't tell me what the monthly rate was. That's just telling me here. Let me do this. Let's see what other charts we've got. This is seasonally adjusted. I don't want to know what the 12-month is. I want to know what the monthly change is. No, this is not going to help me. I need a chart of monthly data is what I need. If anybody has a link they want to share with me, consumer price index. Let's see. don't want the latest one. This is going to give me the latest one. I don't want the latest one. Yeah, that's not what I want. It's where I just was. If I go here, let me see. All right, I'll just do a search. It'll be easier. You know what? I have ChatGPT up here. Where'd it go? There it is. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But let me go here. What was the monthly change in CPI for July 2024? Let's see if it gives that to me. 0.2% month over month. So, oh, that was for June. Okay, so it went from oh, I see. Yeah, so that is for July. So we're going to be replacing a 0.2% overall. But what I want to find out was what was shelter? What was shelter's portion increase for the month of July 2024 that contributed to the CPI? Let's see if it can come up with that. 0.4%. So if we can start seeing a trend of shelter, so 0.4% is great. That's a higher number. So if we can hold it at 0.2%, that means that shelter goes from 3.8 to 3.6. That has been an extremely sticky number. We know that food and energy are gonna vary. But shelter is such a huge portion of the core. So that's why that one is so important. And that's why if we can start seeing a reduction in that, we'll generally see the Fed easing, because the rest of it, controlling the rest of it's easy. Shelter is such a long game that it's so hard to control that. And if that starts going up, everything gets out of control. Which leads me to what I was looking at before, because I was looking at, what they're trying to make sure of with, and I'm not getting political, I'm just simply stating what economists have been talking about, okay? What they've been saying is that what did all the companies do in December and then again in April? In December, they all preloaded their inventories knowing that tariffs were coming. Let me repeat that. They loaded their inventories. I can tell you that for a fact because I work in a warehouse where a good portion of things that are brought in from outside the country. And that stuff, we were loaded to the gills. Absolutely loaded to the gills. So that's a fact. So right now we have not felt not much of the effects of the tariffs. It's going to take till fourth quarter before we really start to feel any effects from it because of this buildup in inventory, at least to the economy. Yes, there's going to be certain places where you're going to feel it more than others, and there will be some effects, but it will be a while before we really start to feel the effects. So that's what the Fed is worried about. And what happens if they lower rates and inflation goes up? Now they're playing catch up. It is extremely hard to play catch up, which is what they did in the 70s. And we had runaway interest rates as a result because we had runaway inflation. And what the Fed is saying is we are better off having a recession. And honestly, I have been saying this for a long time. We need a recession. We need a recession. It's all about cycles. Recessions suck. I don't like recessions. But the bottom line is that you need to have the cycles. And the harder you go up, the harder the fall. So if they delay interest rates another month or two, that's okay. And in fact, actually, if you listen to Lark Davis's latest latest video, he talks about interest rates, and he's talked about, hey, you know what? Having it be delayed this much is not really a bad thing. It really isn't. So I think if they wait until October to lower, not necessarily a bad thing. Now, with all that said, the market expectation is that rates are going to be lowered. Does that matter? Yeah, it does. It does. But what this reason why this matters is it's not going to affect what the Fed decides. Right now, you've got a 9-3 majority. You have the two that dissented last time, and the person that Trump appointed will obviously vote for lower rates. So you have 3 people that are going to definitely vote for lowering rates. The other 9 are in question. They're on the fence. They're all on the fence because it's close. But what everybody's worried about is exactly this: runaway inflation getting to stagflation. Stagflation, you never want to get there because the resulting economy after that is extremely painful. I remember what it was like to live in the early 90s through this. It was painful. We had food on the table, not saying anything like that. My parents made it as easy as possible, like so that it really didn't seem to affect us. But it did. It did. Money was tight. Money was very tight. People weren't spending money. Unemployment rate went way up because interest rates went way up. Volcker had this. He was the Fed chair at the time. And he was the one that had to unravel all the crap that came before that because they didn't even have monetary policy. By the way, they did interest rates with non-monetary policy. That's how they did interest rates. Don't even ask me. I didn't even want to delve into it, but that's the way they put it. I'm like, how do you, what? It makes no sense. So anyway, he got in there and he's like, I'm going to have to cause the country a whole mess of pain. And he was a very, very unpopular figure in the country at that time because of the pain he was causing by having interest rates be as high as they were. But it was the only way he could get inflation under control. What we had in the 70s was an expectation of inflation. Union contracts were built around the expectation of high inflation. That's how bad it had gotten. So you get into this cycle of rising wages that have to keep up with inflation. So when inflation starts to come down, well, the actual wages are still going up because they're part of a contract. So now there's all this more money, which is causing more inflation. So you get into this wicked cycle. Thankfully, we haven't quite gotten into that cycle. Some have argued we barely got into that cycle, but I don't think we have. And that's what they're trying to avoid. Now, what I do find extremely interesting as to why I think there is good that there's pressure on them is if you look at this gap right here between where inflation is and where short-term interest rates are. That's like one of the largest gaps we've seen, and for this longer period of time. I don't know if it was in our history or just for a very, very long time. It is extremely atypical when you have that, what I'm focusing on right here, where the interest rates are significantly higher than the inflation rate. Yeah, it's rightfully so that there's some pressure put on the Fed saying, come on, man, what are you doing? But again, what's going on with tariffs is why we would have had lower inflation or lower interest rates at this point if Trump hadn't done tariffs. Not making an argument of whether or not he should have done them. I'm just simply stating fact. The interest rates would have been lowered because there would have been less uncertainty, so that the Fed would feel comfortable knowing what the environment that they're in right now. Right now, they're not sure of exactly where they are in the economic cycle because of that and what effects they're going to have. So, but that was very interesting to me. With all that said, we don't control it, but what do we need to look out for? The one thing you need to know about the Fed is they never want to surprise the market. Never want to surprise the market. So, since the market expectation is that they are going to lower rates, if you do not hear boo out of the Fed prior to September, they're lowering rates. Absolutely lowering rates. Now, they're all going to have speaking engagements between now and then. If there is a general, maybe 3 or 4 of them are talking about, you know what, I think we might hold off, or there's no guarantee we're going to lower interest rates, then they might not be. But like I said, if they don't say anything, rates are getting lowered. No question. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see. So bring this all back to crypto. Why does this matter? Because right now there's a 92% chance built in to the market, which is driving crypto prices up. There's the expectation that interest rates are going to be lowered in September and going throughout the rest of the year. If that doesn't happen, there will be a negative. There will be a drop in crypto. No question. There'll be a drop in regular markets. There'll be a drop in crypto. The key is that with lowering interest rates, that means people getting out of bonds because of the returns are less and going into riskier assets. That's what that means. When interest rates get lower, people are more likely to invest in riskier assets because, okay, well, if I can get out a loan at 3%, 2%, 4%, 3.5%, and I can confidently exceed that return, then I'm going to go ahead and do that. So obviously not everybody does that, but a higher percentage of people will do that as interest rates go lower. So, but again, the exact opposite. If they indicate that they're not going to lower interest rates in September, then, so again, going back to crypto, what am I doing? I haven't decided yet. I guess really what it comes down to. I need to look to see when the speaking engagements are for members of the Fed, and that will be like the day before, maybe days where I sell on those days, thinking that there might be an indication. Now, what will be interesting is, get the flip side, if they come out and be like, well, yeah, we're lowering in September, or something that indicates that. Obviously, they're not going to say it like that, but if it's something that something like that, then the markets are just gonna freaking take off. They'll spike and they'll come back down. But yes, they will react to things. I think when it comes to interest rates over the next month, any news, of course, except PCE, because nobody pays any attention to it for whatever reason. I think that I really think that it will there'll be a lot of news on anybody from any of the Fed governors talking at any events. There will definitely be news on that. All right. With all that said, I guess I bored probably everybody to death. Oh yeah, people left. They didn't want to hear about interest rates. Wait a minute. What? I missed all that? See, I caused it. That must have been what I must have caused it. Where is it? Do I need to do a refresh? Somebody said 125, but that shows 121.6. Where did it? Wait a minute. Let me go in here. Where did it spike up to? Oh, no, it's up to 121.5. Okay. That's over 7 days. Yeah. But I'm not complaining. I like it. I like it. Let me, where is the, usually somewhere in here, there is, that's the day. Well, I know within the last year it was okay. So it's high, all-time high was 123. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. We're getting there. And again, I guess it's Monday. It's Sunday night, so it's really Monday in Asia. So we've already started the market day. I always have to remember that if you're gonna trade on Sunday, you need to do it earlier in the day. I'm glad I didn't trade today though. I was debating on whether to trade at the end of the day yesterday with some of the things that had gone up. So I'm glad I did not. I did not. So yeah, I like that. Where did Ethereum get to? Still at 4,300. Not bad, obviously, but Bitcoin seems to be the one making a run. Let's see if anything else is. Solana up to almost 885. That's nice. I mean, USDC just never seems to move. Cardano. Oh wow, that was at like 80 cents a little bit ago. Now it's up to 83. That's not bad. That is not bad at all. Chainlink's been doing really well. That's been on a tear. 34% up for the week. Let's see what else. You know what? I'm gonna go to my watch list. Kind of skip over some other things I don't really care about. Sorry if it's things that you do care about. Wow, Litecoin up to 125. Like that. I do like that. I wish I'd bought back in at 115. I was holding out for 111. Oh well. I mean, I still hold quite a bit. Well, quite a bit for me anyway. Let's see. What else is of note? Let's do this. Let's look at the 24-hour. Oh, look at that. Pre-search up 5% today. Nice. Raven coin up 4%. Vert coin up 4%. Bitcoin up 4%. All right. So, yeah, I'm fat up 2.5%. Filecoin up 1.76. See, that is still really low. Really low. Kind of debating whether to try to get back in. I mean, I still have some Filecoin, but buying another like 100 or so. All right, let's look at the week though. Who is Chainlink the winner for the week? That's what I'm wondering. Out of the things I follow, yep, Chainlink is the winner. Polygon up 22%, nice. Arbitrum, Ethereum, a lot of things up 20%. Dynex up 20%. Too bad none of us can get to our Dynex if you have it in Trade Ogre. Ugh. I have a decent amount of Dynex in Trade Ogre. Not worth that much. It's only a couple $100, but I would like to be able to see it someday. Let's see. You know what? Theta is one I want to go look at again. This is another AI play. I do want to go back and look at that. I have some tabs that I left open because I wanted to go back in and look at it. It's pretty interesting. But the other one I did want to look at was actually Mantle. This one kind of like, I'm like, never heard of it. Now I did know that it changed its name. It was known as something else recently. But basically it has unveiled its ambitious initiative to date. You are a borderless smart money app, crypto first neobank designed to simplify and unify financial experiences. That's a mouthful. What they're really trying to do is to meld, and it says this later on, DeFi and TradFi, and basically meld the two together. So you could take your paycheck, direct deposit it into one of these accounts in fiat, and then do whatever you want within the same account. But it's also doing it within their ecosystem as opposed to an exchange. So it's a really interesting project. Kind of curious to see where that goes. So I don't know. I thought it was pretty interesting. I read up on it a little bit today. So like I said, I'm really kind of curious. It's recently had a run up, quite a bit of a run up, but yeah, I don't know. Thought it was pretty interesting. All right, let me go back to the chat. Jackson Digital, great stream, buddy. Thanks for the insight. For the sake of metrics, I'll list a Slumlord dual 5090 setup and see what happens before I dump $1,000 into peak AM5 specs. Not a bad idea. Not a bad. You know, here's the thing. You could always go middle of the road. Now, Swamp 7's like, what are they? I'm trying to remember what the word for it is. Jesus. Not dummy proof, but go to the most recent stuff so that you make sure that you're moving forward as opposed to buying cheaper stuff that you're just going to have to replace sooner. So, Red Panda Mining decided to grace us with his presence. You know, I'm never like an hour and 45 minutes to your streams. All right. Anyway. Bitcoin. Yeah. BTC is definitely ripping. Seriously, dude, what's on the AI table today? Well, if you had been here, I actually deployed at like 4 in the morning. I finished it. Oh, I'll go through that. I actually didn't go through the deployment. I actually deployed a 5090 on Octaspace. So I know you have a sick son. I understand. I'm just messing with you. AM6 is on the horizon. Only 1 or 2 more generations of AM5. That is true. That is true. I'm just thinking, like, do you buy an epic roam with lots of lanes, PCIe 4 at a much, much lower price than, because I mean, if you do like a server case type of thing, the server case you can reuse. I don't know. I still think you save it's like buying a used car. You can get just as much use out of it and it's good enough. And I look at like the infrastructure hardware is like transportation. That's all it is. It's just transport. Now, the GPUs, on the other hand, it definitely helps when you move to the next generation, because that's where the meat and that's where the dessert is, I guess. The meat and potatoes is the, I don't know. Yes, 4 in the morning. I was up until 4 in the morning last night. Your excuse is building a bunk bed. Yeah, exactly. Roam CPUs are pretty cheap. Motherboards, not so much, but yeah. Yeah, but I still think you're better off with the Epic than you are with the Threadripper. I know you're saying Epic Turin. I know you. I still think Rome does just fine. That's what my 4090s are telling me, and have been telling me for a very long time. I Rescue Daddy, you've inspired me to finance free GPUs. Oh no. What have I done? What have I done? Yeah. I can tell you that when I initially did this a year and a half ago, it was so obvious to me that you were going to be able to make money. Right now, with 5090s, I'm not as convinced. I have 3 of them. I will eventually make money on them, but I'm not as convinced that they are the best investments. Right now, I think 5060 Ti's are better. A better investment. I'm getting them rented a heck of a lot more than my 5090s, but that's just what I've seen. Looking to get BMW money from Essentra. Like I said, I'm driving a 9-year-old car. My wife is driving an 11-year-old car, and I am perfectly happy with it, and I have no plans to replace it. I will drive it into the ground. It's paid off, been paid off for quite a while. I do not want a car payment. So yeah. 128 core, 256 thread, ape in. But again, why do you need 128 cores to run 8 GPUs on a server case? There's no reason. 8 cores is 8 cores, 16 threads, plenty. 8 times 8, 64 core. You should not need anything more than a 64 core to do that. Not anything more than that. Or get to get more PCIe lanes, do 232 cores. I don't know. That's where I'm at. Gonna be the first person to put an RTX 5050 on AI. Oh, I want to see it. I want to see how much it makes. Isn't a 5050 have 8 gig? It's got to, right? Because a 5060 by itself has 8 gig. Anyway. All right. So yeah, going back to Octaspace. So 1 o'clock. I always say do not start a project after midnight. But last night I was like, I have this 5090. I unlisted it from Vast. I do not want to relist it on Vast because if it picks up a job, I don't know when I'll have a chance to do this. So I just wanted to get it done. So I started at 1 o'clock. It's not hard, but it takes time if you do something different. So I decided I would start after reading the instructions. It says it would use the unallocated space. Unallocated to me tells me non-formatted. So when I initially did the install, I did it like my Vast install, which was I allocated 50 gig for the operating system and left the rest of it alone. Unformatted, unallocated. Well, when I did the install and went through everything, well, yeah, I had 25 gig available for jobs. So that wasn't going to fly. Like, okay, I guess they really just wanted you to zip through the install and not even worry about that. So again, trying to take a very simple process and trying to make it more difficult. Also along the way, again, because this is 5000 series, trying to figure out the best way, and I was experimenting, the best way to install the driver. So initially I did sudo apt install NVIDIA driver dash 570, which installed 570.169, the proprietary version. That doesn't work. The proprietary versions don't work on Linux with the 5000 series. You need the open. I'm still learning, so bear with me. I haven't gotten there yet. Eventually I figure that out. So then after that, I'm like, well, let me go back to the .run technique. So looked up that command, changed the command with the latest driver, put that in, and then now it was discovered. So then I was going through the process of the install, which is literally one command. That's it. Which was pretty nice. Very, very, very easy install for Octa. Once you get to the point where you've installed Ubuntu and the driver correctly, which shouldn't be hard, but you know me, I had to make it hard. So anyway, so I basically scrapped the first install because it was running, it was working, but with no room for jobs. So then I had to go all the way back. Oh, by the way, you're like, well, then how is this taking 3 hours if that's all? Because the biggest problem I had, which I showed earlier, is this. That. And getting past that error, trying to get to the console, that took me probably an hour of time to figure that out. An hour of time. Finally, I realized if you go into incognito mode, then you don't need to worry about this. It'll actually get right by it. So that was my problem. It's a Chrome issue, not an Unraid issue. Freaking Chrome. Anyway, so I did finally get past that so that I could actually install Ubuntu. Now, the first time I installed it, I just played around with a few settings and got it to finally work. So I'm like, okay, cool. But then I had to redo it. And after that, I couldn't figure out how to get it back as I didn't do the incognito mode the first time. I was changing the SSL setting within Unraid and opening some things up in Chrome, and voila, I didn't know which switch actually opened it up, but it did. And so, but anyway, so then when I went back, I couldn't get it to work. So I finally got it to work. So that was probably at least an hour and a half to 2 hours of what my problems were. So then I went back, did the easy install, just didn't mess with any of the settings. The few settings, obviously, install SSH and just the basics, but don't do anything with the drives. Just let the drives install default, which is what I did. So yeah, once I did that, everything was up and running, opened up the ports, and we were good. I stayed up a little bit to like make sure it's probably up running at about 3:30. But anyway, yeah, I definitely made things harder than they really needed to be. That's for sure. All right, so a bunch of people tagging me. Let's see. Retro Mike, I have an RTX 970 on Vast. Best ROI ever. Well, I mean, if you bought it for like $25, maybe. Be curious if you could rent it out for enough to cover electricity on it. 5060 Ti's. I actually had it up here. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. They're not making a ton, but they're making more than my 3060s for the same power. Here, where is it? 5060 here, right here. So right now they are making about little over 8.5 cents an hour each. So if you take the power of that, you're making like, so say you multiply that times 3. So you're right just above the power of a 4090, okay, with more RAM. And you're making about the same, maybe a little bit more on the same amount of power as a 4090 with 3 5060 Ti's. That's, equivalent power. So that's kind of where I was thinking about. Now, once you go to 4, that's where you're kind of getting into the realm of the power of a 5090, and you're going to be making, again, about the same as a 5090. Now, it does take up more real estate, obviously, so it isn't as friendly from a real estate perspective, but you can buy 5060 Ti's 16 gig for under $450. So you can buy 4 5060 Ti's for $1,800. Can't buy a 5090 for that. So, and they may be coming down even more in price. There's been rumors that they're lowering prices. I don't think they're going to lower prices much on the 5090s, but I'm thinking the lower end cards, they may lower prices. I've seen some crazy 8 gig prices. 8 gig is, I saw one at like $339 for an 8 gig 5060 Ti. Now that doesn't do anything for me or anybody else running AI, but they're definitely, I think the 8 gigs are going to be the ones that are going to be fire sold. Fire sale on 5060 Ti's in aisle 8. Yeah. All right. Let me see what else. Retro Mike, I'm going to buy one. Gigabyte made a low profile version. I can put it in one of these new systems I've got. I'm guessing, oh, the 5050, got it. Let's see. I need Swamp 7. I need more server cases. With Mobo's CPU, what would you buy? Red Panda, we can talk. I've been looking into this. Anyway, until I buy mine, I want to make sure that I'm not going to run into any problems, but yeah, I'm thinking probably when it comes around to September, that's when I'm going to start building the next machine by buying all the hardware. I just haven't decided if I'm going to build an 8 by 5060 Ti rig or an 8 by 5090 rig. Right now I'm leaning towards the 8 by 5060 Ti rig. So we'll see. We shall see. Did I ever try Proxmox and LXC? I did not. Would be much easier out of the box. Oh, than Unraid. Well, again, my Unraid is primarily there as a NAS, not as a hypervisor. But I've got this box. I mean, I might as well use it for more than, and the way I built it is I wanted to have one box that did multiple things, not just a NAS, but also a hypervisor. And Unraid, I hadn't played around with it. I'd heard good things from King about it. He enjoyed it. And I have to admit, I do like it a lot. It makes it super easy to deploy Docker containers as long as it's in their community apps where you can just install it from there and be done with it. It's really cool. Retro Mike says, one important note, Octa doesn't auto update. Yeah, I did notice that. You run that same command to upgrade to the newest version. One of my 3060 Ti systems is still in version 0.35. They are now on 0.53. Interesting. Which version am I on? That one I probably will have to... tell me, no, that's the configuration. It's probably on the page I don't want everybody to look at that as my IP address. Yeah, 0.53. That's what I'm on. I just wanted to make sure. When you said 3.5 versus 5.3, I'm like, am I being dyslexic? Which one am I on? Let's see. Red Panda, my ASRock, Rack, Roam, yep, or Supermicro H12 DSI. Yeah, the Roam one there, that GM2T, that is the one that I am thinking about because that has the Slim SAS connectors right on the board. So you don't need to buy like a PCIe to Slim SAS adapter. So yeah. And if you get the case from the right place, they will pre-wire everything for you, including the adapters. So yeah. Second TL. Also, it's not a boom or bust in terms of rentals with some GPUs being rented. Correct. I mean, this is a business. There's gonna be ups and downs. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It just isn't. But as you grow, it works. For me, that's what's worked for me. Let's see. Can't run 6x on H12 DSI at full PCIe band. Really? Oh no, I guess is it only 5? I mean, I've got 8, so I'm running 8 lanes. Interesting. I'm surprised not 6. Oh, well, I guess. Oh, yeah. Well, unless there's hidden, not hidden, but unless you have Slim SAS connectors on that board that you can have double as, you know, connections to your GPU. I'm not super familiar with that board, but that might be kind of interesting. Let's see. Red Panda, Octaspace automatically updates. Get riggedy wrecked. I don't think it does because it actually tells you how to update at the bottom of the installation. Oh, I mean clore. Oh, okay, got it. Let's see. Really? Wait a minute. The H12 is a single. The H12 is a single CPU slot, right? How are you going to get 16 on there? It doesn't have enough lanes. There's no way. Clore says my hardware's too mediocre for them. I'll send it to you a little bit later, Red Panda. Let's see. Just remind me if I don't. Gotta ease up on those meds. I need to buy all the servers. Yeah, you know what? I'll send it to you like in a couple months. All right. Then well, I'll tell you what. Let me talk to them. I want to work myself into a cut of the sale. Anyway, I'll send it to you. I'm kidding. So the Octo servers, they're interesting, but the problem is that they're not a right size solution. The ones I'm looking at are like double deckers. So they're like 8U servers. So you have your GPUs that are like, so like a regular Octa server, you've got your CPU compartment and your GPU compartment. And in fact, in the one I've got one GPU sitting next to the motherboard. Okay. So that's how I get 6. But some of these other cases, they will actually have it be like, if you wanted to do 8, you do 4 in the front, and then they have a compartment over the CPU compartment. So, and then that blows through. So you have 2 levels of blow through on these servers. And then you have a dual CPU system. So you have enough lanes to run all 8 cards with 16 lanes. So it's pretty interesting. But an Octo server doesn't have anything like that. They have single level. Right now they're like high tier ones. You can run like server grade cards that are only 2 lanes, and you can run 10 of them. So you could do that at 16 lanes. But if we're talking about consumer grade cards, you can't do that on those because you don't have enough spacing. So that's why I'm looking at a different solution as far as a case. Now, if I run the 5060 Ti's, that might be a different story. I might be able to run that on one of the Octo servers, like just like a $5,000 Octo server. Maybe. I haven't gone that direction yet, but that might be a possibility. The other part of it is, though, Octo servers are known to take a long time to get. And you might also have lesser tariffs. It all depends on how things are tariffed as parts versus complete units. So I don't know. Yes, 8U. Yeah. Enable says, yeah, 7 to 8U for the 5090s. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, because they're built that way. Plenty of room for airflow. That's what's good. That's what's good. So yeah, I thought about if I get another rack, I'll put another server case, I should say. I would get a 19-inch rack at that point. Put both of those in there along with the switch, since they're all rack mountable, and then probably put in a couple of shelves and put some other things in there. But yeah, it's kind of where I'm at right now. All right, let me see. Was there anything else I was going to talk about? Oh, one thing I did want to ask. Here. Let me put in a poll. We only have 26 people still here, but oh well. Hey, you guys are the diehards. You can tell me what you guys want. Let's see. Start a poll. What day is the best day for me to release videos? Monday, Tuesday. It only allows me to do 4, unfortunately. And actually, I'm going to probably release 3 out of the 4 of these days. If that's my goal anyway. Or maybe 2 out of these 4 days. Probably 2 out of the 4 days. But let me know what you guys think. I'm trying to get to the point where I was originally going to do videos every single day through the month of August. That turns out to be extremely difficult. Extremely difficult, because I can't just let a video go without editing a good portion of it, and I see improvements here that I can make and there, and I won't say I'm a perfectionist, but I have to have a minimal viable product, I guess, is what I'm saying. And my minimal viable product is still fairly low. I mean, my last video, you could see the minimal viable product's probably pretty low because I should have retaped the beginning of it. I'm curious what you guys thought of the beginning of the last video, because I felt like it was cringeworthy. It was just very choppy, and I just couldn't get into a rhythm. And then once I started talking about installs and stuff like that, I was fine after that, I thought. but the beginning 2 minutes, ouch, ouch. But let me know. Chain Savvy. I don't even see a comment from Chain Savvy because I'm on Top Chat. Look at that. Let's see. Somebody delete the I don't even see a comment from Chain Savvy. And I'm on live chat now. Oh, that's Enable. Got it. He changed his name. He was BMO before. Win 22 rig. Now I see. Now I see. 6 by 5060 Ti open air rig, PCI 5 risers, 15 amp outlet. No, well, hang on. Gonna do my math. 15 times 120 divided by 170. Oh, sorry, times 0.8 divided by 170. That's cutting it real close. That's cutting it real close. That's not giving you much room to run your motherboard. I mean, I suppose you could, scale it back to around 150 watts each instead of running them at 170 max. But yeah, I would not recommend that. Would not recommend that. You don't ever remember me having a bad video. Well, like I said, there was just... I appreciate that, Turtle Tech. I really do. The last video I made that I released yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Pretty sure it was yesterday. Yeah, it was definitely yesterday. Like I said, the very beginning of it just seemed very choppy to me, and I could have gone back to re-record it. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to re-edit it all over again. I'm like, no, minimal viable product. This is on the lower end of the minimum viable product, but it was definitely on the lower end, in my opinion. But I appreciate you saying that. Like I said, what I'm trying to do, and this is actually one of the topics I had, was goals for the channel. What I'm trying to do is two things. Provide value to everybody that views my videos, that they're here for a reason, and the reason is to learn something. Okay, and I want to help teach something during each video that is going to be valuable to the person watching it. That's first and foremost. Secondly, though, is I want to grow my channel to the point where in a number of years, I don't know how many years that's going to be, that I will be able to transition into doing this full-time for retirement. I will not need to make a full-time income on it, but somewhat close to a full-time income. So that is my goal, is to be able to transition, because that would be great. I mean, if I could retire at 62, 63, because this had grown into something that I could make and then wouldn't have to take Social Security until age 70. Again, these are all thoughts. They're not decisions. There's trade-offs of taking Social Security at 62 versus 70. And yeah, I've gone through all the numbers. So trust me, there's not a right or wrong answer. It's just what's right for you. And I'm in my mind is, if I can continue to make money to the point where I get to 70 and then continue to make money after that, but I don't need to make as much, I will have enough retirement along with a little bit of income and a higher Social Security to be able to retire. I'm behind on retirement, had a number of very rough years as far as what I made. Yeah, for probably about a period of about 15 years. Let's just put it this way. I made more in 2001 as a marketing manager than I make today. Let that sink in. That is 24 years ago. I made more money in that year than I make now. Now, there were a number of years after that where I made, that's in a reasonable amount. That's in a salary job. There were a number of years after that when I was in the mortgage business, I made considerably more than that, but that was a commission base. That was basically like running your own business. That was totally different animal. It's not a salary. So that is, I did really well for like 11 years out of school, and then did extremely well for another 3 years. And then the floor, and I was underemployed for a lot of years after that. So it is what it is. I am where I am today. I'm happy. I just need to figure out a way forward. So my point is, the first and foremost is providing value with what I put out. If people lose sight of that, then I don't know what to say. That's the first and foremost. But the thing that motivates me to continue to put out content going forward is that end goal in mind of, hey, wouldn't it be great if I could walk downstairs, interact with people, figure out what I'm going to talk about for the day, talk into a camera for about a half an hour, edit for 3 hours, and set up my release schedule and do a video a day. That'd be awesome. That would be absolutely awesome. Maybe do some one-on-ones. You know, obviously I've been pushing the one-on-ones. Have had a couple of them. They've gone extremely well. I've been able to solve people's problems. So it seems to have gone well so far. So I'm sure there'll probably be somewhere along the line where maybe I'll get to something where it's going to be a lot more difficult. But so far it has not been. So they've gone well. So I don't know. We'll see. This is why I continue to reach out to companies that I think make sense as a sponsor. So we'll see what happens with those. It won't be as much about my content, not saying what I'll talk about on Sunday, but my content will be less about crypto than it will be about homelab and GPU rental. That'll be the focus. Now, if GPU rental takes me into crypto space because that's the platform, so be it, but that's not my primary thought. So, all right, let me see what kind of comments. Let's first of all see. Monday is number 1 by far. Wow. Okay, well then I got some work to do tonight because I have not recorded a video yet for tomorrow. And it's 10:15. That might be a tall ask. To see if I can figure out and record a video in time for tomorrow. I might be able to do one. I think I have one I could do. I've been meaning to do it too. It's on the X card, the EliPal X card. I've been kind of delayed on that one just because it hasn't again, it doesn't kind of fit in with all the things I'm doing now. But I did agree to do a video, so I still am going to do a video. But yeah, going forward, I probably won't be partnering with any. Like, One Key actually reached out, and I basically said, no, not really where my channel's going. I appreciate your interest. And thank you. And I thanked him for reaching out, but that was kind of like right as I kind of made that decision. Man, I love the X card. I love the concept of it. You don't have to worry about whether or not the company that's making the card has access to the keys like you do on another card. And I will not put as much crypto on that card as a result. So some people have kind of poo-pooed that as who cares? But it's been proven that, yeah, that information, they are collecting it. They did collect seed phrases, not saying that they are still, but they did it one time. And so who knows what they're doing. So that's why I like, in this particular case, you create your own seed phrase outside of the eyes of the company that makes it. So they don't know what your seed phrase is. They don't know what it is. So anyway, well, thank you guys for taking that poll. I will do my best to get something out tomorrow then. Wow. Nothing like pressure. Red Panda, I'm going to book a one-on-one with you. You better not. If you need to talk to me, you let me know, dude. I owe you big time. You let's put it this way. You have a lot of time in the bank, sir. You have a lot of time in the bank. Let's see. Enable says, Keep them coming. Being outside your comfort zone is what makes you stronger. Best yet videos out there definitely crashing the RPM. Honestly, Panda's helping because he's helping bring more attention to the space of GPU rental, which just means everybody that's doing content about that. By the way, Panda, if anybody has not subscribed to AlphaMine, please, I mean, I'm assuming everybody here is subscribed to Mine some 10 already. But if you haven't subscribed to him, subscribe to him as well. But subscribe to AlphaMine. I can't believe it is a freaking crime that he does not have more subscribers. Seriously. Hang on. AlphaMine. Oh my God, I can't type. Jesus. AlphaMine. Oh, see, he has such a small channel that you have to actually filter and only filter it by channel, and then it'll show up. Right here, AlphaMine. See, I'm subscribed. I'm putting his channel in the chat. I think I am anyway. Yeah, there we go. Subscribe to him now. Now, subscribe to him. All right, let's see what else. Let's see. Goat is still here, man. It's way past your bedtime. That's wildly inappropriate. No discounts. Like I said, it's not discounts. It's banked time. It's banked time. Think of it that way. Let's see. Yes, AlphaMine Octaspace content is gold. Yes. Like I said, the only thing that I disagree with him on is don't install Ubuntu desktop for Octaspace. Only reason why it kind of makes sense, because when you do that, I think it automatically installs the graphics driver, I think. But it's not that hard to install it when you know what you're doing, which now I do. Let's see. Funny thing, I actually got a threatening email saying to not make AI rental content because I will ruin it for everybody. I responded with good. It's, you know, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I can make it and have very little effect because I have a small following. But that person isn't making content on it. And I truly don't believe that you will ruin it for anybody. You won't. There's too much demand. There's too much demand. That's what I think. I guess I'll find out if I'm wrong when a lot more comes online. Right now, well, here, let's look at... Shoot, let me find it. Where did that window go? Give me a second. I gotta find that window. Here it is. And it's right here. Watch out for the flashbang. All right. So yeah, since I guess, I mean, this is 5090. So yeah, of course they're growing. So from 59, from here, you're at 1542 total 5090s to like to 1860. So it's grown 300. So yeah, and you can see the demand hasn't really grown a lot. It's been pretty stagnant. But again, it's summer. It's summer. Summer. Yeah, let's go to something like a 4090. So like 4090, I mean, it's been at 6,000 before. Let's go something longer than that. Let's go to last 1 year. That's 4090s. We were over 7,000 4090s on Vast. 7,000. Now we're down to 5,500. Our videos are not going to have a large enough effect to kill the demand. Just not. We're just not. Again, this is summer. You can see there was a peak towards the end of the semester, and then it dropped. And you can see back here, second semester or first semester, you can see it really started to peak towards the end of first semester. You know, you get in the middle of October to the beginning of December. Actually, that's right before Thanksgiving break. And look at that. Thanksgiving break, bam, drops. Colleges are using these. The correlation between a typical college calendar and this demand, on Vast at least, is remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. So, yeah. This is towards the end of the first semester. It started to peak, like mid-May. Probably when guys are trying to finish their projects. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. All right. Geek of all trades. Sorry, editing a video. Figured I would hang out at the same time. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Maurice Morris. Oh my god, I had no idea. I have 4 of them not in use. Swamp 7. What? 4 of what? I have 2 Dell 5810s with E5 2699s V3s. Not bad. And 2699s V4. Nice. Thinking about putting 2 in each one with low power video card. Yeah, I mean, that's basically what I've done with each of mine. If you look, the T7810s, I've got 2 3060s in this one. I've got 5060 Ti's in one of them. I've got one of them running as a salad rig. Oh, and the other one's running at 2 3090s. So the 2 3090s, one of them is powered by an external power supply. That actually was my latest video. That was in there. So go check that out. I really think the configuration I came up with was pretty interesting. And I'm not going to show the picture here, but go check out the video and see what it looked like. It ain't pretty. That's for sure. Because people are going to be like triggered by the lack of cable management. But it just works. And it's rented. And it's making, wow, look at that. Almost 25 cents. So these 2 3090s are making about the same amount as one 4090. That's pretty good. Now, the power on it is going to be a lot higher than one 4090, that's for sure. So that's one of the reasons why I'm thinking about selling a couple of my 3090s and replacing them with something else. But probably will wait until the 5070 Ti comes out, because I think the 5070 Ti is going to, well, it's going to be lower power than this, or maybe slightly lower, better performing, and have the same amount of VRAM. So I think that 5070 Ti Super is going to be the card to get for AI. I think it's going to be a real sweet spot. Might wait to I don't know. I might deploy a 5060 Ti rig and then wait and deploy a 5070 Ti rig in like January or February maybe. I don't know. I'm still toying with the idea. I've debated whether to wait until the Supers come out. Yeah, the 5080 Super has 24 gig of VRAM too, but the 5070 Ti also has that much. So we added probably a significantly lower price. Wow, that's such a generous offer there, Geek of All Trades. Oh wow, I'm gonna have to turn you down though. I just, you know, 250. You guys are killing me, Yeah, I know. They certainly minimum, and probably more, but minimum $800. Minimum, I would be able to get for those. So basically looking to replace a 3090 with 2 5060 Ti's is kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know. We shall see. Go 251. that your final offer? Is that 251 final offer? Take it or leave it. Alrighty, let me see if there was anything else that was like, I didn't really talk much about Trade Ogre, but the one thing about Trade Ogre I will say is I have not heard anybody say that any of the wallets, any of the exchange wallets have been touched. So there's still hope. Still hope. All the crypto's probably still in place. I mean, who are we without hope? Yeah, and I hit on everything else. Any other questions before I let you go? It's been, wow. This is probably my longest stream ever. 2.5 hours. It does not feel like 2.5 hours. Not even close. Not even close. But hey, all you guys that stayed till the end, appreciate you. Really appreciate you. I appreciate you as much as a $99.99 super chat. Well, maybe not that much, but $1 Bob. What? Wow, that would really. No, I will not be doing a 3090 on a giveaway. I will definitely not be doing a 3090 on a giveaway. I don't know what my next giveaway is going to be. I will just leave it at that. I have some ideas, but I don't know. I need to be inspired to do a giveaway. What would be the reason? It needs to be something. I will say that tour video I did, that was quite the shocker. That outperformed every other video I did by 10 times in the first like 2 or 3 days. That was amazing to see. I was just like, what? The click-through rate for the longest time on that video was over 10%. I was like, what? And YouTubers, you guys as YouTubers understand this. Other guys that aren't, you may not understand it, but that's like a measure. If you can get over 10%, that's like godlike. Like, not that you're God, but just that's like rare. It's rare. Good is between 6 and 10. And right now I'm sitting at around 8.5, I think, right now. When it averages all out, it's about 8.5. But yeah, it's been good. So now I'm trying to like maybe set some goals on how many views I want to try to attain each month. Right now I'm kind of like on the maybe 30,000 would be a good goal. I'm not going to keep getting videos just like that. That is an outlier and I need to recognize that, but try to strive for using that same process to try to get similar videos. Like tomorrow, the video I'm planning on doing tomorrow with the X card, that won't get anywhere near the amount of videos, no question. I'm still not sure if I'm gonna be able to get it done. I guess I should just stop talking and see if I can get it done. All right, let me check on the content or the chat. Let's see. Bob Barker. Oh, $1, Bob. Sheesh. Well, you know what? I was never a Price is Right guy. I barely watched it. Go Lions. Oh my gosh. I will say it's like one of the first 4 games the Bears play the Lions in Detroit. I believe the Bears will lose that game. There will be a high motivating factor to make sure that the new head coach of the Bears does not come into Detroit and win. Now, he's going to be very motivated, but that's going to be a really, really interesting, very interesting game. Yeah, Goat, you really should do. I was surprised. Crootman was the one that suggested it, and I couldn't believe how like it took off. I really could not believe it. I'd like to say it was the editing that did it, but I don't know. I was liking the way I did this video as opposed to just doing like a vlog. So you didn't get the noise and all that kind of stuff. So I thought it was an interesting way to do it as opposed to everybody else would be like walking through it. So I wasn't sure how that was going to go over. if people were going to like the fact that I did it that way, or be like, well, why didn't you just walk us through it so we could see how where everything was in relation to each other? Nobody made those comments, so I guess it went over well. Oh yeah, the title and thumbnail were on point. Yeah, they were good. I will need to kind of, I think the size of the face, I think helped. Because typically my face isn't that big in the thumbnail. So gonna try maybe to do a little bit more of that going forward. And then obviously the title, yes, the title was good, but I know what I'm doing to make the titles. I'm going to follow that process. I have GPT on ChatGPT, obviously, that I'm using for titles now, and it seems to be working. All three or four. I guess I did only 2 videos since then. So the other 2 videos after that also did better than all my other videos in the first couple days. So just not anywhere near as good as that one did. So anyway, but yeah, you guys will see more content going forward. I'm more motivated now and kind of have more of a goal in mind. And I know the only way to do that is to put out content. And so I'm starting to enjoy the process a little bit more as I learn how to better edit. But I like to do the videos I like to do. And sometimes I realize I need to do videos that maybe I'm not as inspired by, shall we say. But we'll still get them done. So you're saying your big head helps with clicks. Got it. In a matter of speaking, I guess. Hey, you're the one that said my thumbnail was on point, so that was the big difference. Nope, I disagree. Okay. All right. Well, appreciate you guys, all 25 of you, sticking through to the end. And I will be back on Sunday and maybe a video out tomorrow. I'm going to try to get that done. Yeah. If I do it, then I'm doing it with a hat on. Because my hair is a mess now. And I know I can't, well, maybe if I go to bed like really early and get up early, take a shower, do it tomorrow morning. But man, then I'm going to be rushing to get to work. Another hour. And Abel's like, another hour, let's go. No, I'm not going to do another hour. Like I said, 2.5. Wow. Like I said, I can't remember the last time I did a stream this long. So, alrighty. No, by disagree. Make videos you want to watch. You can tell in the content. That is true. There are ones that like the last one I did. That's one I would want to watch. It was just, I don't know. I just couldn't get into the crux of what I was trying to say. That was the hard thing. The X card, I love it. I don't mind talking about it. It's just doing a video on it about a product itself, and I need to get better at it. So I don't know. But yeah, I need to put together, I already have a initial script for that one. I got to look at it a little bit closer to make sure it's accurate. But yeah. All right. Yeah, you're right. No, of course, no. Tabs were created in this stream. I was closing tabs throughout the day. What I tend to do on the weekends, I start going through a particular window, seeing if I can close everything in that window to reduce the number of windows I have. So yes, you guys see how many tabs I have? How many windows do I have open? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. These two are not really windows. Those I can close. Some of these I think are like single windows. I really don't need those open. Yeah, this is like a single one. Yeah, I don't need this one open. I can close that one too. Look at that. I'm already closing windows. Already closing windows. And this is another one I don't need. Because that one is right there. Yeah, I don't need this one. Wow, look at that. Just with the end of the stream, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm at 10 windows now. Aren't you proud? Anyway, so thanks again, everybody. And well, not as always, because I just did kill some tabs, but only a few tabs were killed in the making of this live stream. Have a good night, everybody.